Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The current close range meta here in Warzone has a ton of really dominant options. There are so many competitive choices here that it really comes down to, do you like weapon A more than weapon B? Okay, then weapon A might be for you, but the next person might like weapon B more than weapon A, and that means weapon B is going to be the meta for them. So today I wanted to go through and break down the entirety of the close range meta and give you guys the best weapons and loadouts to be rocking right now. Starting first with, of course, an obvious one. Let's get this out of the way real quick. The LC-10, the fastest TTK in the SMG category when factoring in combination shots. It's low recoil, great range, super aggressive. It's the do-it-all SMG. So as far as the setup goes here, it's a pretty standard one. First up, I do have the long barrel on here. Extends our effective damage range out to just over 16 meters, which is fantastic for an SMG. I also got Ranger foregrip on here for some sprinting movement speed, some better control. That said, if you do a lot of hip fire to ADS transition, the G grip would be a really solid choice here as well, because it's also offering horizontal control, but then that hip fire to ADS accuracy, and that really applies to all SMGs. Do you do a lot of hip fire in your personal gameplay as you're going into an ADS in the close range? The G grip's going to oftentimes be an attachment that really helps out there. Extended 2 in this case, a 55 rounder will work for all squad sizes. Bit of a faster RPM, so the damage per mag's not going to be insane, but it will be sufficient here. Quick draw rear grip for that snappy ADS, and then I do also go for the infiltrator stock, which helps out that strafe speed and just makes this thing even more aggressive as you are aimed down sight. So really fun, really reliable SMG setup that just melts right now. Another not so surprising choice, the C9. It's been a top tier SMG basically the entirety of the Black Ops 6 Warzone era here. It's dependable, it's consistent. You know exactly what this thing is going to give you game in and game out, gunfight in and gunfight out. Good range, easy to use, nice and aggressive option here too. Pretty similar setup for the most part. Long barrel gives us a 17.2 meter effective damage range there. Ranger foregrip yet again for that better horizontal control and sprinting movement speed. Extended 250 rounder working fine there for all squad sizes. Quick draw rear grip for that snappier ADS. Then in this case, I do like recoil springs. Just makes this thing extra easy to use as you do maybe bleed into some mid-range gunfights with this thing. It's just going to be a laser beam, and that is obviously a huge bonus to have. Your TTK realistically is going to be a lot faster when you aren't missing shots, and this thing makes it as easy as possible to hit shots with. So this thing will fry up close and even into some mid-range fights as well. I'm also still absolutely loving the Ladra. This gun just feels really fun to use. It feels really satisfying to use. Has a crazy extended mag. It's pretty aggressive, also a pretty forgiving range as well. It's once more checking all the boxes you need for a meta SMG. In this case, I got long barrel yet again, 15.5 meter effective damage range, sitting pretty there. Ranger foregrip for the control and mobility once more. Extended 2 in this case, 66 rounder, a little bit up from the other options here, which just means more of a safety net. You definitely want that though, because 1071 RPM, this thing spits bullets. The larger the safety net, the better in this case. So that's definitely clutch to have on there. Quick draw rear grip for that snappy ADS, and once more infiltrator stock for that better strafe speed. You could always switch some of this out for recoil springs if you wanted to. A compensator as well if you ever need that extra control would also be practical, but this, it's aggressive, it's relatively easy, especially with the Ladra here. It just works. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is not a mistake. The MX9 is in fact in the close range meta. It's definitely one that is a sleeper option. Like, people aren't defaulting to the MX9, but you can check the stats here. This thing's TTK, its range as well, absolutely fall in line with the other top tier SMGs in this close range meta. It is an MW2 gun, so it feels a little bit different from the Black Ops 6 guns. You got to get used to that, but it can get the job done nicely, and it's a nice change of pace from the typical Black Ops 6 weapon spam for sure. Not a huge fan of the irons, so I do go for the model 2023 NIDAR optic here. That's a matter of preference. You could use whatever scope you wanted to, or even irons if you wanted to as well. Sonic suppressor extends our range and our velocity. Then we also got the Bruin S901 barrel on here, doing more of the same for our damage range, plus some mobility there too. So we end up with a 14 meter effective damage range, pretty minimal drop off beyond that as well, which is nice. The extended mag here, your only choice is a 50 rounder. That's going to work fine, of course, right in line there with the other options. And I do like the C11 riser on here as well for the better sprint to fire and ADS. This thing's pretty snappy and aggressive. A 93 sprint to fire is solid there. ADS is sort of middle of the pack, but yeah, this is a surprising choice. It's nice to see though that an MW2 weapon can actually compete with several top tier BO6 guns. And by the way, as we are breaking down all the weapons, all the setups here today, if you guys enjoy the video, you find this info helpful, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you're new to to the channel, or maybe you have not subscribed yet, we should change that each and every day. This is your one-stop shop for everything going on in COD, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Next up, one of my favorite run and gun SMGs, the Saug. This thing's mobility, this thing's handling just feels so fun. It's one of the more aggressive options in the game, while also being pretty consistent as well in terms of damage range and TTK. Bit of a different setup here, at least a tad bit. I do go for the long barrel yet again, gives us just over a 15-meter effective damage range. G grip in this case feels really solid. I think Ranger would work again as well if you want to focus more on the sprinting speed versus the hip fire to ADS accuracy. There's no wrong answer there, really. Extended 2 in this case, a 55 rounder, that'll work. We got a 909 RPM, so a little bit faster there. Damage per mag will probably be in the middle of the pack by comparison. Commando rear grip in this case for the better ADS and sprint to fire here. 195 ADS, 115 sprint to fire, again sort of middle of the pack. And then recoil springs with the iron sight based build here, just going to make it a little bit more accurate, a little bit easier to use, but a really fun setup here. Whenever I'm looking to mix things up, the Saug is one that I definitely default back to because it's aggressive and it's just a ton of fun. It's a really satisfying sub. Now I do want to focus a little bit on sniper support here as a part of that close range meta, and the FFAR absolutely dominates this sort of niche here. This thing can outgun SMGs in the close range and the mid range. It's just that insane right now. The perfect sniper support weapon in my opinion. The optic here, really a matter of preference. I'm not a huge fan of the irons, so I do just go for the Otero red dot, which works fine for me in the close mid range, maybe some early long range even if you need. Compensator makes this gun incredibly predictable and easy to use. Vertical foregrip's going to do more of the same just for horizontal there, so the recoil pattern will be a lot more forgiving. Extended 2 in this case, a 60 rounder. If you're playing solos, you could probably get away with extended 1. Then lastly, just to make this thing a little bit more aggressive, since we are focused more on the sniper support niche, balanced stock for some better strafe, some better movement speed there. Just makes it a little bit more agile, which ultimately you're always going to want in an AR SMG sort of style build here. But this thing, I mean, it just melts, plain and simple. Hey everyone, real quick, wanted to give a shout out to my friends over at G Fuel. We are of course in the midst of summer. It's hot outside. You want to stay hydrated? Look no further than G Fuel. They got plenty of flavor options for their new hydration and focus formula. And of course, if you're looking to stay energized, there's a ton of options there as well between the tubs and the cans. And G Fuel is constantly adding in new flavors. Trust me when I say there is something for everyone. There are so many bangers. Some of my absolute favorites: watermelon limeade, hype sauce, fruit punch, all fantastic. You can mix and match flavors as well. They got so many choices. If you ever want to grab anything at all from the new and improved G Fuel site, use code WhosImmortal at checkout. The link for that will be down in the description below if you're interested. And then the M13B, another really solid sniper support choice. This was of course just buffed with Season 4 Reloaded. We've talked about it a little bit here and there. A nice switch up yet again from some of the Black Ops 6 weapon spam, a weapon that truly can compete. It's not going to necessarily outgun the FFAR every time, but it's something that can hold its own. If you're able to, be familiar with the gun, learn its pattern, learn its behavior and feel, you'll be set. It absolutely is capable of winning some pretty solid gunfights here. Now, our model 2023 again is my optic of choice. Spirit Fire Suppressor extends out that range and that velocity some. Nearly a 40-meter effective damage range on this thing is pretty solid there. Bow Breaker Underbarrel helping out with control and then firing aim stability, so it just makes it a little bit easier to use. 60 rounder, again, solos, you could probably opt for a 45 if you wanted to, just to be a little bit quicker there. And then Bruin Flash rear grip for a better sprint to fire, and ADS. Obviously, once more, you want to speed up any rifle build you can if you're aiming to use it in the mid-range and closer here. So some solid sniper support choices for sure. Little bit of post-edit Zach here as well. I did want to include the new TR2 close range option here with the CQB conversion kit that dropped just a few days back. Originally, I had recorded this video prior to this aftermarket part dropping, but this thing's actually pretty competitive. It's got a TTK that can compete with some of the other top-tier SMGs that we're mentioning here on this TR2 for close range. I'd be rocking, obviously, the CQB auto conversion. That's the most important part of the setup, but then the compensator just helping out with control there. The only extended mag option is the full auto extended mag. It's a 50 rounder that works nicely. Vertical foregrip for more control, then the quick draw rear grip for that faster ADS. Thing is pretty nice. It's a nice change of pace too. Another just absolute machine of an SMG, the Kompakt. It is going to be a spray and pray machine at that. This thing's got a crazy quick TTK. It just also spams bullets like crazy because the rate of fire here. So you really got to focus on recoil. That's why I go for the compensator. Helps out vertically. Ranger foregrip helps out horizontally. Plus you get that mobility there too. And then recoil springs doing some of both. You want this thing to be as accurate as you can make it. That way you can just absolutely melt players with it. We definitely want extended 3 on here. 60 rounder. Still a 1091 RPM. The damage per mag, even with a 60 rounder, is not going to be fantastic, but you're going to melt players with it. You'll have time to reload because they'll be knocked or spectating. You're heading on over to the gulag there. Then lastly, quick draw rear grip for that snappier ADS, so you can just run and gun with this thing, spray and pray, and melt absolutely everyone. And then lastly here, kind of another spray and pray build, the PPSH. This is the gun that I think in Warzone right now benefits the most from the G grip. This is like a gun that was almost built to hipfire. If we could go all in on hipfire builds, this would be my #1 choice. They kind of went away from that in Warzone. We used to have so many of those back in Warzone 1, not so much anymore. But anyways, I digress. PPSH, long barrel on here. 16.5 meter effective damage range, sitting really nice there. The G grip, as mentioned, for that hip fire to ADS accuracy plus some added control. Extended to 55, that's okay here. 952 RPM. The damage per mag won't be fantastic, but it'll work. I like the agility stock on here. Basically every single stock is good. It just matters what stat you want to focus on. Is it strafe? Is it ADS? Is it a little bit of both? Is it you know, slide to fire and dive to fire, sprint to fire? You can't really go wrong with any of these. Just build it to your play style. What are you doing the most? What do you care about the most there? I like agility, and then definitely want recoil springs on here as well. The iron sights aren't the greatest, but I live with them because I want to make sure I can optimize things elsewhere. Recoil springs will make things a little bit easier there. But yeah, this is a close range meta that has a ton of different choices, all of them super competitive and super effective here. That is going to wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well to guarantee you're always up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.